Hello, hello, and welcome everyone. Today we have with us Mr. Lawyer Prakhar Sharma, sir, and he has pursued his BB LLB from Jindal Global Law School in Sonipat. Mr. Prakhar Sharma is currently working with the Narayan Health Group, and Mr. Prakhar Sharma has joined Aditya Birla Group as a senior legal officer, where he has gained his initial professional experience, and thereafter he has joined the Hindalco Industries Limited. Apart from his corporate legal experience, Mr. Sharma is also a recipient of the academic studentship from OP Jindal Global University. Mr. Sharma is also an established author and has published multiple research papers. We are glad to have you, Mr. Prakhar Sharma here. So, with that, we can initiate with our question. Any opening remarks from you, sir?
Thank you, Vaibhav, and thank you for inviting me for this opportunity. I'm looking forward for it, and we can start.
Dear sir, what was your journey to pursue law? Was this your aspiration from very beginning, or something inspired you in the later phases of your academics life?
So initially, my father introduced me with the option of studying law after my schooling. So I had science and maths in my 11th and 12th, like every other student at that time. So I was going for EEE and IIT coachings. But adding to that, my father introduced me to the law coaching as well because he thought this is a different option. I was not aware of law initially, what the career looks like and how I can proceed with it. But eventually, with time, I found that this field of study is very interesting and it's very good for my personal growth because at that time, like my approach was very inquisitiveness and I used to ask so many questions. So my father thought of uh, guiding me towards law. Then he introduced me to one of like senior advocate in Chhattisgarh High Court, Mr. Kanak Tiwari. And after meeting him, discussing with him, I found that this field of studies can be a very good option for me in my future prospects. And then I joined this career launcher coaching for studying CLAT regarding subjects, and then I got admission into Jindal Global Law School, and the rest is like I am very convinced and happy with the career which I am having in terms of my professional growth, my personal growth, and my learnings. So yeah, that's the thing. That's how I started for the law.
So, sir, are you from legal background, or your background was not legal from initial?
No, so I am the first generation lawyer in my family, and so this plays a crucial role in guiding the career because generally we see that there are multiple generations of lawyer within the same family, or even doctor, or maybe chartered accountants. So my parents, like none of them are lawyers. Still, my father guided me to go for law, and yeah, there is no legal background in my family.
Okay. So, sir, can you please tell us your responsibility at the Narayan Health Limited? Um,
So at Narayana Health, the profile which I look after is a mixed profile. The same was there at Hindalco Industries Limited also, which is a metal flashing company of Aditya Birla Group. So here I sit at corporate office and look after the east region of the company, basically looking after the hospitals which are situated at Calcutta, basically West Bengal, Jharkhand, and at Assam. So the profile starts with working on the contracts. The day-to-day work mostly starts with contracts. So contracts which we have generally tie-up agreements, clinical trial agreements, retail labs agreements, and any other agreement that comes on a day basis. So in hospitals, we generally tie up with some corporates or government agencies or like the procurement of drugs, non-medical purchase, and all these things are mostly in contracts. Then the work is of litigation. So there are many uh, consumer cases which are filed against the company, and there are certain cases which non-consumer cases also which have been filed by the company. So litigation is a part of that. So I look after the cases are for the east region of the country. Then the major work is of compliances. So every company needs to follow certain laws and regulations, and certain forms needs to be submitted, certain filings needs to be done, and all. So these things are being looked at by the legal team. So similarly, I look for the east region of the country, or the east area, the hospital situated over there. And the compliances are mostly, that's why we do a monthly compliance meeting for that, and review of these compliances and follow up, and then looking after the owners and concerned owners and approval for these compliances. Then the research, which is a very important part of every job for a lawyer. Research, as in any, if some decision is being taken by the company, what are the legal consequences, legal risk, how can we mitigate those risks, and how can we avoid those risks. So research is a very core thing which a lawyer do in his day-to-day job. Similarly, like me, I also do the same. And in research, if let's say there is some takeover of some hospital, or maybe some new plan is being introduced, so what are the legal consequences that can come along with it? Or maybe the internal functioning, certain internal functions, for example, let's say some query regarding PF or gratuity or ESI that needs to be addressed. So that has been taken care. Apart from that, the drafting of the internal documents of the company. So some letter is being given to government authority, or maybe some consent form is being drafted for the patients and all these things. And adding to that, the general terms and conditions, certain general terms and conditions, certain privacy policies, disclosures, and any other drafting work that is being done, that is being required to be done, I look after that. Adding to that, any miscellaneous work that comes to the legal team. So there is no limitation for a lawyer to work on anything. So ranging from small to major things, a lawyer can be asked for to do advice or maybe review certain documents, anything. So there is no limitation of any kind of work, and it starts from anything then ends to anything. There is no watertight situation for the work.
Okay, so sir, had you done litigation prior to you go to Narayan Limited, or you directly?
I have not done litigation in terms of profession, like in terms after work, leaving out from law school. I have done litigation internships during my law school time, that were in district court, high court, as well as in Supreme Court. But in terms of experience after law school, I don't have experience in litigation. But I've done arbitration when I was working with Hindalco Industries Limited. So I have argued myself for the case, and eventually the result went in our favor. So only arbitration experience I have, not the experience of litigation. Adding to that, since I am working as an house counsel and I'm getting salary out of it, I cannot work as an advocate,
Yes.
because uh, an advocate is required to surrender his bar counsel license when he's working in company and getting salary out of it.
So, sir, many of our viewers, including me, are looking forward to pursue a career as a corporate lawyer. So, what will be your advice for the same?
Uh, I can say both working in law firm or maybe working in litigation as well as working in corporate sector, both are very good options. That totally depends on personal choice. But if you're working as in-house counsel in corporate sector, there are certain things which a student needs to consider. First, you are not just working as a lawyer, you're working as a business lawyer. So you need to strike down a balance between the requirements of the business and the requirements of law. You cannot be too strict on the business in terms of law, or you cannot be too strict on the law in terms of business, because every business decision comes with a cost, and the business team or the corporate team would like to avoid such cost. And you being a lawyer, you will try to implement the law in the best possible manner, but try to avoid the cost as well. So, for example, there are certain compliances. For example, if you're working in a manufacturing company, maybe a new compliance has been introduced. For example, let's say emission norms. If the emission norms have been restructured and you are required to slow down your emissions from, let's say, 500 mg per nm cube to 200 mg per nm cube, then the law is that you have to do this. But the cost that will come along with this may be too high, which your business is not currently willing to incur, or maybe you do not have that much of capex budget for that. So what you can do, maybe you can challenge that in the court of law. You can maybe write to the government authorities and ask for exception. Maybe you can ask to the government authority for some extension in the deadlines. So this is up to you. How can you like work with the business team and come up with a very good solution so that it can save your cost as well as comply with the law? So that is the call. Next, working as in-house counsel, you will get very good opportunities of learning the business, which might not be there when you're working as a litigator, because there are different cases and you have to work with different companies maybe, and you'll get a slight glimpse of certain kind of business, but not in detail. Whereas when you're working in a company, for example, manufacturing company or healthcare or IT or something, then you will get to learn the business in detail, and that will be very helpful for your upcoming projects or jobs as in-house counsel only, because the companies generally look after the candidate who has a very good understanding of the business and not just the law, a combination of both.
Sir, I have a personal question in this. Like when we are talking about the corporate lawyers or the lawyers who are working for a firm or a company, so is the work life if the work life balance is better as a person as a lawyer working for a company or as a litigator?
Litigator, I would say there is lesser work-life balance. I've not seen much, but I've what I know with my friends and acquaintances that they need to work on Saturdays and Sundays because they need to earn bread and butter out of it. And it takes time for a litigator to set up practice if there are no family backgrounds in terms of law. Work-life balance is a bit into question for litigator, because you need to there are no Saturdays and Sundays for them. They work very hard, and like they need to work for the senior counsel. And generally what happens in litigation is that you fight the cases on weekdays, and on weekends you need to meet the clients and customers and new clients, the possible clients also. So that needs to be maintained. That is very important for that profession. Whereas working as in-house counsel, you will get a decent work-life balance. I'll not say that it's very good. Maybe you need to work on Saturdays and Sundays as well. Not every Saturday, Sundays, but certain weekends you need to work, because that depends on the criticality of the work and the requirement of the business. Second, you need to understand what is priority for you. If there are certain personal things that can be rescheduled or maybe avoided for maybe certain important things that are being done at your workplace, then you need to strike a balance. Maybe work-life balance is a very important thing that needs to be monitored very specifically. But uh, since we all need to grow into profession, you can clearly see there are certain professionals who are working day in and day out, and you do not want to miss out of the possible opportunities. So you need to work on the weekends as well, certain times, but not always. So yeah, that's my answer.
So another small question arising out of this, like I have also done some corporate internship at NPCL and also at Picker in Delhi. So I just want to ask, there's a very prominent thinking that when we pursue as a corporate lawyer or when we work for some companies, we do not learn that much as compared to the litigators or the people in the people who are practicing regularly. So do you agree with this or?
uh, I do not agree fully for this, but there are certain things which I can affirm for it. First, when you're working as a litigator, you're dealing purely with the law. The litigator is not bothered what is happening in the business and with the business, because they're getting the fees and they are working on the case and on the law perspective. That's it. Whereas when you're working as in-house counsel, you need to understand both the business as well as the law. So you need to set out your priorities, whether you need to go ahead as a litigator only or as in-house counsel only. So if you're working as in-house counsel, there is no limitation that you do not need to, you are not required to read the law. A lawyer, in-house counsel is also required to understand and read the law as much as a litigator, even in certain situations more than that also, because litigator is required to apply law for a specific proposition only. Whereas if you're working as in-house counsel, you need to apply law on a day-to-day basis on all the functions or maybe challenges that are coming to you. You need to have a very strong academic background and a theoretical knowledge if you're working as in-house counsel, because every decisions that are being taken at the, let's say, a workplace, you will be a part of that. You'll be part of decision making. And if you are taking or maybe guiding for certain decisions which are not backed by law, then the consequences are very high and the risks are too much. So a lawyer working as in-house counsel in corporate sector needs to learn and understand the law as much as a litigator, and maybe more than that also. But not every day you'll deal with, like, not for every kind of work you'll deal with the core concepts of law, but the basics of law will be applicable in each and every work corporate, like in-house counsel in a corporate sector is doing.
Thank you, sir. Sir, like, what will be your advice, like how to prepare and how to apply for MNC's interview as a corporate lawyer?
Uh, for for any interview, not only specifically to MNC or some Indian company or as litigation counsel, for like I'll tell about the corporate sector only. You need to first understand what business the company is doing. So let's say if the company is involved into manufacturing, then you need to understand what kind of laws are being applicable on the industry. So for example, in manufacturing, you need to understand labor laws very specifically. So the new labor codes are coming right now. You need to read that as well. Then if the Pollution Control Act, Forest Act, these are applicable. If electricity is also part of it, so then you need to understand these kind of law. So first you need to understand what kind of business the company is doing. Then what are the practical applications of this kind of law? So a law student is studying only the theoretical concepts of law and not the practical concept. So you need to understand and read the case laws which may be applicable in these kind of companies, so that if the interviewer is asking you such kind of questions which are not there on a textbook, then you will not bother or you will not be shaken by these kind of questions. You will understand what are the background of these questions and how can you smartly answer these questions. Second, for these kind of interviews in MNCs, you need to understand how the things goes in the interview. So maybe if let's say the interviewer is asking you a particular kind of question and you are, if you are not aware of it, you can slightly, in a modest way, you can say that you are not aware of that this, and you may uh, come back again for this question, or maybe you will never touch this particular point of view, but that's a very good question. You can you'll read about it instead of, like, so the other thing is there are certain times people say random things if something is being asked, or maybe answer wrong answers. So that gives a very wrong impression, say, to the interviewer, because he or she might feel that the candidate is not honest, or maybe not willing to accept the limitations of his personal things. So that needs to be taken care very delicately, because you need to be honest in terms of interview, whether you know that or not know that, and that's how it goes.
Thank you, sir. And so in corporate fields, what do you see very promising fields like for a corporate lawyer in the coming time and in the current time as well?
I would say this totally depends on the personal choices, which kind of sector you are looking for. Whereas right now, the upcoming fields or the fields that are very much into highlight is, I can say IT sector is very much promising right now. Second, edtech sector, and fintech sector is also growing rapidly. Then manufacturing is a very good sector, I would say, because in terms of learning, there are enormous opportunities in manufacturing sector. And ultimately, the question will goes on how much you are interested in learning and which sector is of your priority. Maybe if you are interested in IT sector and I push you for, let's say, healthcare, then you might not feel interested in working over there.
True, sir.
Whereas if the sector is of your maybe likeliness and the work if you'll enjoy, then you can grow at any sector. There is no limitation for
Yes. So you have also interned, as you have already said, you have interned under in your college and you have interned under various district and high court lawyers and in law firms. So how does that help you in your current scenario?
that. So every internship is very helpful for the career growth for law students. In every internship, you will learn certain things which are new to you. Maybe some things might get repetitive, and maybe some internships you'll not get to learn much things. But there are certain takeaways in every internship. So a lawyer, no, sorry, an interviewer who is taking an interview for your first job, he'll check what kind of internships you have done. Let's say, let's say you have done three in-house counsel internship in corporate sector, and you have applied for job in corporate sector only. The person will look at your CV, see these kind of, he or she will look at every internship. So if the profile is for litigation within the corporate sector, then the interviewer can ask you questions in litigation sector. Whereas if non-litigation sector profile is there, maybe contracts or compliance, then he'll look at your CV, what kind of contracts or compliance kind of work you have done. And whatever the kind of work that matches your profile, that interviewer is most likely to ask these kind of questions. Maybe you might know certain answers, maybe you might not even know certain answers, but you will reflect that there are certain things that your internships have like helped you and that has come up in the interview questions. So try to learn as much as you can in your internships, because these lays the foundation for your first job. And after first job, I don't think much of the companies look for your internships. Mostly your work experience will suffice. But for your first job, internships are very important. Try to do as much as internships and learn as much as you can.
Yes, true, sir. Sir, like as you have already stated that you have done your graduation from Jindal Law School. So would you like to throw some light on your life in Jindal Law School and Jindal Law School as a whole?
Global Law School was amazing. I had beautiful 5 years of my life over there. That was the first time I went out of my house, my comfort zone. So in terms of academics, the faculty were very good. We were having different kind of subjects like electives we can take. So Jindal Global Law School offers cross-registered elective as well. So apart from studying law, we had Open Jindal Global University. So we had option of taking electives from other courses as well. For example, BA I can take, business school electives I can take, public policy electives I can take. So that overall gives a very diverse perspective in terms of studies and the current exposure of different subjects. So at my time, I had different kind of subjects. For example, some certain political science subject. In fact, forensic science, restorative justice for victims of crime. In fact, I had subject regarding the history and the development of cricket in India. So these different kind of subjects plays a very important role in your development of mind and a broad thinking. Apart from that, Jindal Global Law School gives different kind of opportunities. You can go for a semester exchange. You will have very good sports facilities. You will have research centers over there where you can do certain good research activities. And many like societies are there where you can organize events, meet different professionals, working professionals who are best in their business. So it's up to you how can make the best use of the limited opportunities of 5 years and make the best out of it.
Yes, sir. Sir, and as we have already stated that you have published several research papers. So would you like to advise something in that as well, like how students can publish and approach research?
Research is a very important thing for a lawyer. Research is basically just reading the law, finding out different propositions, writing on it, and getting the best out of the material which is available online or maybe on books. So you need to first set out the subject in which you need to do some certain kind of research, or maybe you can associate with certain research centers, certain research bodies who do research on day-to-day basis. They can help you in assistance for the research. Or otherwise, if you can look at the different websites who can ask you for certain research papers or articles whereby they can publish. So you can select the first, you need to select the topic, maybe subject you need to select first. After that, you need to select a specific proposition within the research, what you need to work on. Then look at the appropriate websites or journals or maybe newspapers where you can go for your publication. First, do the research, make a very good research article, review it 2 3 times, and then go ahead with your research. Then try to find the appropriate audience or maybe the the platform where you can publish your research and then publish it. And these research articles are very important in terms of your first job, because an interviewer will look at what kind of work you have done in terms of studies in your curriculum, then extra curriculum what you have done, co-curriculum, sorry, co-curriculum
Yes.
what you have done, in terms of research or maybe moot court or debate or client counseling or different kind of things. So this looks very diverse on your CV. A recruiter will be interested in hiring you as compared to looking at the CV, which is not having a very diverse profile, and that's how it goes.
Yes. Sir, is your company is offering any sort of internship right now? If this
Yes, the company offers internship for law students. I can after this call, I can share you the contact of the person
yes.
whom you can write for the internships, and that you can apply for it. And maybe if you get shortlisted, then it would be a great opportunity for the learning in my company.
And sir, if you can give any final words to us for the law students.
Final words to law students is that so enjoy your college time. This will never come again, but focus on your studies as well, because you're setting a base for your future, and that will be with you forever. Try to do different kind of work, different kind of internships, and get a very good exposure of different kind of things, and be persistent with your work, because things will take time, but eventually everything will be good. And all the best for your future.
Thank you, sir. That was such a motivating words, and thank you, sir, for taking your time out for this interview and sharing your expertise area. It was great to have you, sir. And the DS family, will sincerely wish you all the best and all the lucks for your coming life and for your coming academic as well as for your coming professional life. With that, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.